Telesur. I'm Carla Gonzalez, and this is From the South. This Monday marks the 15th anniversary of the regional integration mechanism known as Petrocaribe. On the occasion of the anniversary, member countries of the Bolivarian Alliance for the Peoples of Our America, ALBA, are participating in a joint video conference on the political and economic councils of the bloc. Venezuelan Foreign Minister Jorge Arreaza announced a strengthening of commitments as well as energy cooperation agreements that will allow for the reduction of existing inequalities in the region.
Because today is 15 years of the creation of this initiative. Petrocaribe, let's recall our commander, Hugo Chavez, in the year 2005. In the spirit of ALBA that had just been born in 2004, it was already visible, an initiative that came with all of the support from the countries of the alliance. And Petrocaribe has had a pivotal role in it. If we recall the crisis of the capitalist system in 2008, 2009, thanks to Petrocaribe, along with its supplying capacity, its long-term potential, its flexibility, along with their own funds, and the way that they redistributed their income in the social sectors, we were able to see an initiative that was able to give a support to the most complicated and weak economies of our area. This in the hardest years of that crisis. And Petrocaribe has continued to work regardless of all of the restrictions and sanctions against the Republic of Venezuela, regardless of the siege that we have endured. Petrocaribe is not only alive, but it's also going to have a superior level of coordination as of this meeting.
Venezuelan Oil Minister Tarek El Aissami outlined the path to be followed in order to achieve a sustainable regional economy during the ALBA meeting.
All the ideas that we have gathered in the past months, in the past weeks of hard work, to move forward towards the new system of protection, of production. We have to identify the potentialities of every country in order to achieve a regional economic integration, where we give priority to complementarity, each country producing what would bring them higher benefits, exchanging goods and services with other alternative compensation mechanisms to the Western dominant bank, which badly impacts the economies of our countries. We also have to build and develop the institutional structures. Like I said, Petrocaribe, ALBA Bank, in short and mid-term. We have to develop incentives, especially for the productive economy, and we have to be more agile, flexible, and understand the historic moment that our nations are facing, and make way to bilateral cooperation under these instruments that will surely be an example for the rest of the world.
In other news, Trinidad and Tobago is on phase 5 of its 6th-tier plan to relax COVID-19 restrictions. However, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley says he will be forced to close bars by this Monday if bar owners fail to abide by the guidelines of the public health regulations.
Right now, there are two issues in front of us, and both of them are two Bs. One of them is two Bs. One is border, which will remain tightly managed, and the other is bars, which I will close by Monday. If the reports coming to me are the same reports that came to me today and last night, people have opened bars and are doing exactly what we stopped them from doing when it was closed, because what they're doing now is exactly what we asked them not to do. And I would love for all of us to be able to have a drink and to socialize and to hug somebody who hasn't seen for a long time. But what is happening now is exactly the environment to create community spread. And if we continue to do that, in an environment where we may have the virus in our population, we too will end up like Texas Florida.
Cuban doctors arrived in Martinique over the weekend to help tackle the COVID-19 pandemic and alleviate the shortage of medical personnel. The doctors were received at the tarmac of the Lamentine airport after taking a special flight chartered by the territorial collectivity of Martinique. The brigade carried a Cuban flag and had their temperature taken on arrival. They also presented their passports and proof of having tested negative for COVID-19 to airport officials. St. Kitts and Nevis borders remain closed although the island has been COVID-19 free since May 19th. On Friday, we reported that 10 Haitian nationals who entered the country illegally had been confirmed to have the virus. However, the test results were in fact negative for all 10, with the remaining 3 also testing negative. St. Kitts recorded its last coronavirus case on April 19 and its first in early March. All 15 positive patients have recovered with 0 deaths. We do apologize for the earlier error. Communities of Afro-Uruguayans demonstrated against racism. Protesters took to the streets in the capital, Montevideo, with drums and played the traditional African-derived candombe rhythm. They denounced racism against them and the recent killing of George Floyd by police in the United States. And also other groups such as women and LGBT also joined the protests. The community held up Black Lives Matter signs and demanded justice for black people killed in Uruguay and abroad.
There's no doubt that we of African descent have the drums ingrained as something very much of our own, but today they are a pillar of popular culture. So we found that it was the best way to give an expression to this movement.
It is a social manifestation not only in the United States, but everyone should know that in Uruguay there are also people of African descent and that there are also racial problems that are not visualized.
We're taking a short break now. Join us again in a minute. Welcome back. Let's continue with news. Schools have reopened in Tanzania after 3 months of closure due to the coronavirus. The Tanzanian government has ordered the rest of the schools to open in the second phase, after allowing only universities to open in the first phase at the beginning of June. Safety measures including social distancing, washing of hands, and wearing masks still remain compulsory in school premises. The country has recorded 509 cases and 21 people have died from the virus.
I'm so happy to come back again to school because we have lost a lot of time at home doing nothing.
We still want to proceed with education because when we have staying at home, there is many things we have lost to learn. And if we are coming back to school, we can fill that gaps of what we have to learn.
Zimbabwe has suspended stock trading and mobile money transfer systems to protect its currency. The country's Information Ministry Permanent Secretary Nick Mangwana said on Sunday that mobile money transfer platforms were causing a gap between the market exchange rate for the Zimbabwean dollar and the official exchange rate. The official further added that mobile-based phone systems were conspiring with the help of the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange to facilitate illicit activities that are sabotaging the economy.
In Zimbabwe, and maybe one other country only, is where you will find somebody opens an account through a phone company, and it becomes an account for transferring money, for transacting with. So, under normal circumstances, the Reserve Bank monitors the movement of money between accounts and so forth. But mobile phone companies are under court trust. They are not with the Reserve Bank. And in this particular case, investigations have discovered that there are transactions that have nothing to do with the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe.
The Pan American Health Organization says Latin America could experience recurring COVID-19 outbreaks. The director of the organization explained the causes.
Last month, I announced here that our region had become the new epicenter of the pandemic. I'm sorry to say that since then, cases of COVID-19 in Latin America have now tripled. In the absence of effective treatments or a widely available vaccine, we expect that over the next 2 years in the region of the Americas, we will experience recurring COVID-19 outbreaks, which may be interspersed with periods of limited transmission.
In Guatemala, rural families have classified a variety of medicinal plants as an alternative treatment for the coronavirus amid a shortage of medicine at community public health centers.
She's part of hundreds of indigenous families who keep a collection of medicinal plants, effective to fight the new coronavirus, according to her.
We are poor. We don't have money in the communities, but we have to keep in mind that we have to use our old natural medicines. We don't need a lot of doctors, forgive me. Doctors study to help us as well, but there is medicine that doesn't do us well.
Many families rely on their own recipes made from plants which are native to their territories.
The ginger is cooked, the lemon tea is cooked, you cook the chamomile, the ginger, and the 5 key ingredients. You add the juice of these 3 lemons, and you sweeten it with this honey. That's what we have to do in order to prevent the coronavirus.
They say that natural medicine is an alternative for their healing of the new coronavirus, particularly with the collapse of public hospitals.
There's no need to worry. There is a solution. It is in our hands. It is just a matter of making it. You know, for me, plants are extremely important to eliminate any kind of health problems.
More than 50% of the Guatemalan population lives in rural areas, and a majority are able to cure their own diseases, thanks to the elements of nature, according to the senior member of the community.
We just take it from the mountain. We've taken it, and it helps cure us. If my children get sick, we also take in a bit of this remedy, and they get better.
In Guatemala, coronavirus cases have increased to over 10,000 cases. While the public care centers exist only in the capital city, the majority of population does not have decent hospitals in the departments throughout the country.
According to official data, close to 100,000 people live in so-called poverty camps in Chile, in the midst of a health crisis that has also brought massive layoffs. More details in this report.
The word camp is usually associated with vacations and adventures, but in Chile it means poverty. But not even the poor are called poor. They are now vulnerable. So this is a vulnerable camp, and even more so with the COVID-19 pandemic and the winter.
Violeta Parra
is a takeover of land that begins on September 1st, 2018. Clearly, people in here cannot ask for a loan to buy a house, and even more at this time of pandemic. They can't even afford rent. So this was the only solution we had, to raise awareness of our necessities.
With most households without a source of income, they need solidarity and help from abroad.
We were working on building a library for kids. This was our main challenge. Then we were hit by the pandemic, and we had to act quickly to resolve our urgent needs, which was helping people. And with a lack of employment, we tried to help them overcome basic necessities, food and clothes.
There are some organizations that are helping us. They tell us that they will bring food on a given day, so we count on that. And we don't have to worry for another day now.
Singer and songwriter Violeta Parra would speak of the needs of the people, which are reflected here in the coldness and the mud. For example, this man makes fences, another man works on building his home, and these women cook lasagna for everyone.
One of the neighbors shares her home and her kitchen. We need them, and she is kind to let us have it.
We go to the fair and we ask for things we need. Sometimes people bring us little things, and with that we survive day by day. Sometimes we ask the collaboration, some coins, so we can buy meat, chicken, and what we might need.
I came to this land takeover on September 16th with my 3 kids. Now, unfortunately, I lost one of my kids. He was run over by a car during the entrance of the takeover. He was 4 years old. I fought for them so I can have my own home, and I will continue fighting. I will fight until the last minute. We have gone through hard times. We lived in tents, we were cold, and now we're more organized, but we still have necessities, we still have needs. All of us here will keep fighting for the same thing, for a dignified home and our lives, as well as for our children's lives.
Close to half of the populations are immigrants, mainly from Colombia and Haiti.
We had many needs, and we were bad economically. So this was the option we had so that we can live in peace.
We are approximately 600 families here in 7 communities. We have a lot of foreigners living in the same conditions on the land. We saw that foreigners were living in overcrowded places, and there is still a lot of racism in Chile, and people take advantage of the foreigners.
These populations were called Cayampa. They would appear from night to the morning. The social housing projects have somehow alleviated the problems, but have created another one, a social ghetto and overcrowding. Now more than 100,000 people live like that, and the number is growing with the crisis created by the COVID-19 pandemic.
We are fighting for all, Violeta Parra, so we can all have our homes soon, so we can live and have a strength to fight hard, and to be healthy.
Alejandro Kirk, Telesur, Santiago de Chile.
We have more stories coming up. We'll be right back. Welcome back. More stories at this hour. 6 people were killed in an attack inside Pakistan's stock exchange. Police examined a car that was used on Monday by gunmen in Karachi. According to police, 4 security guards, a police officer, and a bystander were among the dead. Local police also confirmed that all 4 attackers were dead after they opened fire and hurled a grenade at the trading floor. The Balochistan Liberation Army insurgent group later claimed responsibility for the attack.
Well, at about 10 a.m. in the morning, 4 terrorists tried to enter the building. They were intercepted at the front gate, which is right in front of you, and they came in a car, which is supposedly a Toyota car, and they were equipped with fully armed, equipped with machine guns and equipped with other type of weapons also.
At least 30 people have died in a shipwreck in Bangladesh capital Dhaka. Several others who were on board the ferry were still missing, and rescue work is still ongoing on the scene of the accident. The ferry capsized following a collision with another vessel. The boat was carrying more than 50 people. Thousands of people have fled their homes in northwest Myanmar as fighting between the army and insurgents intensifies. The United Nations had called for civilians to evacuate the conflict-racked area on Sunday to save lives from worsening fighting. The Myanmar military has been battling to flush out the Arakan army, a group of fighters seeking autonomy for ethnic Rakhine Buddhists in Rakhine and Chin states since January last year.
They said they are going to do clearance operations, to shoot from planes above, to shoot from boats, and to shoot on the streets. People didn't dare to say in the village, so people from around Kyauk Tan village in northern Rathdowne fled here.
To other news now, Iran has rejected attempts by the United States to have the arms embargo imposed on the country extended. The country's foreign ministry said the United States was not positioned to renew our United Nations arms embargo, adding that other UN Security Council members were opposed to the move. The United States has threatened to push for the embargo imposed to prevent Iran from becoming an arms dealer to be extended. The embargo is due to be lifted in October.
The US government is not in a position to be claiming an extension of Iran arms embargo and trying to do away with accomplishments of the nuclear deal by referring to this resolution. In the consultations that we have had with other members of the UN Security Council, they are all opposed to this approach and have disapproved it. We predict another failure for the US in this issue.
A trade union representing agricultural workers in Italy has called for reforms in the way the country was processing legalization of migrants, describing it as discriminatory and neo-slavery.
Not to use the issue of skin color of the issue of geographical origin to reduce people to conditions of neo-slavery. It also concerns Italians who work in these conditions, destitute people in difficult conditions. So this is our appeal to the government. That is why we have asked for a food permit that will allow us to know what is going on, to tell us what we are eating from the fields to the table.
The former French Prime Minister Francois Fillon has been sentenced to 5 years in prison with 3 suspended for fraud. A court in Paris found Fillon guilty of orchestrating a fake job for his wife, a scandal that cost him his shot at the presidency in 2017. His wife was handed a suspended 3-year sentence for participating in the scheme and had to pay over €1 million over a period of 15 years. The couple was also given a fine of more than €375,000 and ordered to return €1 million to the National Assembly. And lawyers for the jailed former French Prime Minister and his wife have vowed to appeal the fraud sentence.
Naturally, this decision, which is not fair, will be appealed. It is being appealed right now. And there will be a new trial. There will be a new trial, which is all more necessary, because in the last few days, we have finally begun to understand what we have been sensing since 2017.
And with that, we end our news brief. But remember, you can find all of our stories on our website, telesurenglish.net. Be sure to follow health protocols where you are and stay safe. For Telesur English, I'm Carla Gonzalez. Until next time.